We're gonna go ahead and get started. We are recording this meeting for our Zoom, or I'm sorry, for our YouTube channel. I want to welcome you all to the Georgetown Central School budget hearing. My name is Jen Dobransky, and I am the vice chair of the board here in Georgetown. I am filling in for Elaine Pinkham tonight, who has a graduating senior, and there are activities every single night for graduating seniors from now until the end of until graduation. So she is there supporting her son tonight. So this is my second year serving in the board, so I ask for your patience in this process. There's a lot of people in the room that can help answer questions. I'm going to facilitate this presentation, and we will take questions at the end. So in terms of process, we have about 13 or so slides that we will walk you through. And we just ask that you ask your questions at the end of the slide presentation, if you could. So I just want to take a minute and introduce other folks in the room that's going to help. Nina Willett is here, our awesome teaching principal and leader extraordinaire. I don't know if you want to say anything.
No, that's good. I'm sure you'll hear from everyone.
Okay.
Will hear from me later.
Great.
Thank you.
Also here representing the board as well. So I would also like to say that we oopsie daisy.
Oh, no.
Okay. Don't move, don't breathe.
Okay.
You guys can still hear us? We lost video on you. Okay, great. I'll also say that it's rare that we don't have a meeting where we're not talking about budget, but in all honesty, this has been a long process, and it typically is on an annual basis. This is a culmination of 5 to 6 months of talking about the budget, working with the numbers, and getting us to the point where we are right now. And it's because of the hard work and dedication of Nina, also our superintendent, Bob Kaler, who will join us hopefully soon. Our director of special services, Chris Baraboo, also works hard on his section of the budget. And then our finance director, Kathleen Pierce, who's in Zoom, also available to answer questions. Thank you, Kathleen, tonight. So I want to thank all of those people. I would like to say at the onset that we are actualizing a budget decrease this year. So we'll just start with that for those of you who haven't seen it yet. So yeah, let's
Ready to
jump
get
in. So we're
started?
I think I'm ready for the next slide.
Okay.
So, and I'll just say a little bit more about process. We're going to share a little bit about our school and some of our guiding principles. We'll talk about our student population, what that looks like, our numbers. Then we'll look at the numbers, and then Nina will jump in and around and share some information about our, what the students are studying and learning here. So I'm sure you all know that GCS really provides a highly unique learning experience for our students. It's truly, I think, a collaboration between student, staff, and the community. And it's guided by this acronym here, the Community Opportunity Achievement Students and Togetherness. And the way that I see it, I don't know, Nina, feel free to jump in, but students here really learn and have the lived experience of some core values, which are responsibility, curiosity, perseverance, compassion, respect, collaboration, and kindness. So those are some of the core values that are have instilled in the students here. Through experiential and outdoor learning experiences along with field studies, we create socially responsible critical thinkers and creative problem solvers with an eye for the global perspective. For those of you who have GCS graduates or who are current students here, you know really what an amazing learning environment this is for the students here. So, say anything else?
Yeah, we can move on. I mean, I think the last part is, we're really diving into that this spring as we do our spring expedition with kids, and we're talking about climate change and about the global perspective of not just our coastal community, but worldwide, what that impact is, and then having kids think about some real world solutions beyond just the basics of recycling and not littering, but some really significant things that we can do to solve some of these issues. So we are bringing in more of those experiences for kids so that they can leave here not only having learned, but sort of thinking about a career path as well, if that's something that they are interested in. I don't know why I keep losing our screen here. Okay, it's back. Let's just be glitching. Okay.
Okay.
We're back.
So our primary school in Georgetown serves the pre-K through 6th grade, but a lot of people don't realize this. So there's just a reminder that this budget covers pre-K through 12th grade. So any school age child that lives in Georgetown, this is what the budget covers. This current year, we have 119 students. We anticipate having 113 next year. And that number can change at any moment, but those are our current numbers that we are aware of. So the next couple of slides, is the enrollment just at here in this building. We have currently 57 students that will remain the same in the next fiscal year, and we are it's unknown at this time just because of the pre-K enrollment of what that will look like, but those are our numbers in this building. And then for our secondary school students, we currently have 62, and then in the next fiscal year that this budget covers, we will have 53 students. And our projected numbers for the following year are there as well. We budget the 744,000 for in this current budget, 744,582. To cover tuition costs for the secondary students. We always have some reserve, and this year we budgeted 2 for reserve for that. Anything else that we should say about that?
I don't think so. I think the next slide might
Okay.
provide some more information.
So this we added in just to kind of give you a sense of what the secondary tuition looks like. So RSU1 students, and I will say that as you can see, we have 14 students in the lower secondary grades going to RSU1. So a majority of those students attend RSU1. I think I calculated that was maybe close to 90% of the students. So most of our students attend RSU1. The tuition cost is there on the screen. You can see we have 3 students in that lower secondary, those the 7th and 8th grade level attending elsewhere, and those are the tuition costs reflected on the screen there. And then most of our students in Georgetown attend Morse or an affiliate, Bath Tech. I guess those are the same. And the tuition costs are there. You can see 12,513.14. And then we have a couple of students attending NYA and Wayne Fleet. So that's how that breaks down.
Oh, sorry, yep.
I was wondering if you wanted to take this.
Sure.
slide.
Yeah, so this is just an overview of the staffing that we have here. There is one ed tech that works at Morris High School. So currently at Georgetown School, we have a teaching principal. We have 5 regular education teachers. We have 1 special education teacher. We have 1 teacher that is the librarian and the reading interventionist. So she does Title I reading or response to intervention for reading. We have 1 regular education ed tech in our pre-K and K classroom. And we budgeted for 3 special education ed techs. We have 2 here at Georgetown School, and we have 1 ed tech that works at Morris High School with a student from Georgetown. For specialists, music, we have 1.5 days a week, so everybody gets 1 day of music. And then the 5-6 classroom gets an afternoon of band. We have art 2 days a week. We currently have a posting for an SEL teacher, which would be 2 days a week. We have PE 1 day a week. Our nurse is here 2 days a week. And then for support staff, we have a full-time secretary. We have our food service provider. We have a full-time custodian that's here during the day. And then we have 2 part-time night custodians. So 1 works 2 days a week at night and 1 works 3 days a week at night. So that's our staff that is in the budget for next year.
So here's our recommended expenditures for the fiscal year is there, that's 2,751,899. That is for this current budget. You can see that that is a decrease of almost 1%. And then we have some comparative numbers there on the screen as well, so you can see what those numbers have looked like over the last several years.
So you can see this year our budget is actually down 0.9%. So down.
So the way that the school budget works, for those of you who don't know, is we have a series of cost centers, and there are 9 separate cost centers, and that's how this breaks down. And we have a little bit of explanation on what each of those cost centers cover. We have regular instruction, special ed, other. You can kind of get a sense of what that looks like on this slide. And then you can see the differences between the current fiscal year and next fiscal year that we're talking about today. You'll see, again, just, according to the previous slide, we're in a decrease of about $26,000. So even though there's an increase on the student support line, it's a minor increase. I think some people, when they see that 9.8%, it's kind of alarming, but it's an overall decrease that we're looking at in this budget. And then our revenues for the years are down. So this is each school in Maine receives a subsidy from the state to help with the budget. And we receive a very small amount, and that very small amount is getting smaller. So that's reflected there under revenue. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything else.
So the state subsidy is based off of special education expenses in the prior year. So if we had less, obviously that would translate over. So we're always like a year in arrears on whatever we're getting for subsidy. Georgetown is a minimum receiver when it comes to state subsidy. Essentially, the state figures we have enough tax bases here to cover our tuition. Bigger districts like RSU one, when you look at tuition and what it is, it'll show more of a difference there because they're getting more state subsidy to cover the expenses.
In contrast, RSU one gets about 46% from the state to supplement their budget with a subsidy from the state, so we get a very small amount.
So the bottom line of this shows the total assessment to the town. And you can see it's from recommended. This year is a 5.1%. Last year we were at 7.2. The year before that was 0.4, and then the year before that was 1.2. So the bottom number is the total assessment to the town.
I can see in that too, like look back at COVID where we had more funds, school was a little different, and you can see how the amount has changed. One of the things to note is a lot of this comes down to what's left over from the prior year that can actually decrease the assessment. And we used pretty much all the money we had last year to decrease the assessment, which means we don't have any this year to help lessen that burden and make the assessment lower. So that's why here you see the 5.1% increase in the assessment to the taxpayers.
Okay, is it my turn? Okay. All right, so this is just an overview of some of the fun things that we've done at GCS this year. So I'm just gonna run through them. Of course, they don't include the regular amazing instruction that happens here, but we had the pleasure of having the Telling Room, which is a writing program out of Portland, Maine, come. And they worked with our 5, 6 students for 5 days, and then they came back and worked with our grades 3 and 4 students for 3 days. That was a GIFE funded activity that the Telling Room came. We do a lot of outdoor learning. If you follow us on Facebook or you have kids in the school, you know that every Wednesday, everybody's outside for what we call Woods Wednesday for the last part of the day. So roughly just about an hour. And then we have other staff members that do some outdoor learning things throughout the week. Right now, I talked about this a little bit, but we are in the midst of our spring expedition. So the kids are studying climate change and erosion. And especially we've been to Reed State Park to see the damage that's happened there. We're talking about all the impacts of that. So how does it impact human life? How does it impact sea life? How does it impact the people who make their living on the water? Just the interconnectedness of all of us living things and climate change. Our 5, 6 students went to Kiev. They spent a day at the leadership school. They go to boat building every Tuesday at the Maine Maritime Museum. And they're launching 2 boats this spring. So they've built 2. We had our author visit actually this Monday. Melissa Stewart, who's written over 200 nonfiction books, came and presented to kids. That is another grant funded and PTF funded endeavor that happens. We do fun things like Winter Carnival. We do Spirit Week. We have a special Hawaiian Day. For Read Across America, we did a whole week to incorporate reading, the love of reading in there. Once a month, we do reading buddies. So our big kids read with our little kids. Chewonki has been here twice this year, but presented to every different classroom. They just came and did tide pools. We are going to take the kids to see Beauty and the Beast, and we're taking them to the bookstore and trolley ride around Bath. So that should be fun too. So that's just some of the extra things that we do. And a lot of this is grant funded, or a lot of it is just fun things to help celebrate kids, like really demonstrating those qualities of respect, responsibility, safe, and kind. That's what we go by. So there's just some pictures here. This is Hawaiian Day. Below on the bottom is our Winter Carnival. So we had a fun photo booth. And then off to the right on the top screen is a picture of a student at boat building, working with a volunteer there. Okay, and so another thing that's really amazing at Georgetown School is that we offer a lot of after-school enrichment clubs, and these are clubs that are sometimes run by volunteers. sometimes run by teachers, sometimes we bring in experts, and it's a collaboration between our town and GIFE helping us with that. So here's some fun clubs that are happening or have happened this year. We've had a fly fishing club, so the kids have learned to make fishing flies. Fly tying club, and now they're doing fly fishing club. That's next. Laura Richards Library Story Time is happening right now. So we have a lot of kids traveling to our Richards Library to check out books and have a story read to them. We have a weekly homework club, which is run by some regular volunteers in the community who are amazing. We've done felting club this year, sewing club, a cooking club. We have garden club and chess club happening right now. We've had floor hockey. Yoga's happening right now, dance club, a reader's theater, an art club, a present making club around Christmas time, archery, ultimate frisbee, an all-around activity club for kids, and then we also had a hiking club. So this is a really special part of our community that brings kids together. In addition to that, we also offer a before and after extended programming for families who need childcare. All right, so, and then I just want to talk a little bit about our curriculum. So we've been working on our curriculum and getting things put on a website and up onto our school website so that you can view them there. We are, currently looking at curriculums and transitioning pieces. So it is definitely a work in progress, but if you're curious about what kids are learning at Georgetown School, I encourage you to check out our curriculum website.
I just placed it in the chat.
Okay, thank you very much. And then the other thing I just wanted to talk about, which I did previously on a couple of other slides, but just are all the grants that make exceptional learning experience happen for kids at GCS. So we know how special the community this is. Our biggest contributor of supplemental educational funds is the Georgetown Island Education Foundation. So just through regular grants, they give us roughly $11,000 on a yearly basis. And that's, again, just through regular grants. So they come and give us checks, and it's amazing. And then in addition to that, which is not included here, but our teachers have been really active in writing grants. So we get a lot of books in our classroom for kids. We get social emotional learning things for kids. Just different things that, sometimes teachers will come to me and say, I need this. And I say, that's great, write a grant. So we're really happy to have that Education Foundation. They do a lot for us. And then we also apply for special grants through the state of Maine. So if you don't know, we've received a Molly grant for outdoor learning, which is in the amount of $30,000. That's helping support our summer STEM program. Some other building endeavors this summer, and then our spring expedition that we're doing right now. We also apply for smaller grants. The MEEA Science Grant is the Maine Environmental Education Association, and they give us about $1,500 a year, and we do different things. So the pollinator garden that's out back was all funded through MEAA Science Grant. We also have a garden grant too. So we have plans to resurrect a new garden. So it just really lets us do a lot of things. Oh, and then we also, Davenport gifted us $3,500 to support any families that couldn't afford to donate to the before and after school program, so we can ensure that kids have a safe place to be before and after school. So that's roughly $35,000 dollars in special grants that we just bring in. And then if you total up the money that GIFE gives us as well, we're probably looking at about, this year, $50,000 in support for kids. So really super proud of that. All right, and just our last slide, I've been working hard to clean up our website. I am no expert by any means, but please check us out on our website or our Facebook page. I try to keep that updated as well for us. If you've checked it out today, you know that Slugger, the sea dog, was here to visit kids, and we also had the musicians visit for a special performance today too. So there's lots of amazing things that happen at our school. And I think we're all just really proud to be a part of that.
Awesome. Great, thank you. So that concludes our budget presentation. We are happy to take questions if people have questions.
Okay, how do I stop? You know how I stop sharing my screen, Tyler? Oh, here we go, maybe.
Right in the middle, it says-
Oh, yes. Oh, it's because my cursor's different on my computer. So okay, that's why I can do that.
I'm connected, but
So we did
yeah. go ahead,
get a
Tyler.
couple, do you want to snag my laptop?
No, that's fine. You go ahead.
So there was a comment from a Michelle just stating that special education funding is under ADA and IDA federal laws. There wasn't as much of a question as a statement there. Clara Evans says, Nina, thank you for sharing all the wonderful things happening at the school. And Lisa Sabatine says, there is no question our school is an amazing place and our children are lucky to have the opportunities it provides. It is appreciated that you worked hard to hold the budget numbers, which has resulted, as you reported, in a budget that is reduced by 0.09%. However, it is important for people to understand that while the budget is down, the monies you typically have to offset that budget are less, therefore the budget as proposed will result in a tax increase. Again, more of a statement than a question.
I just was wondering if the teacher contract has been solved.
No,
I would call it solved. It's,
it's
That-
in progress.
I didn't know how
Yeah,
else to state the
that-
question.
we are not done negotiations.
So can this go to vote, not being a negotiated contract?
Yes.
And
They basically continue on, it gets to keep going until it is fully negotiated. And
wow. Actually,
And there is a note in the chat that if we could just use our outside voices inside the library, which is very ironic, some folks have trouble hearing.
So I'll just repeat the
Okay.
question. There was a question about teacher negotiations and the answer to that is that teacher negotiations are still in progress. Can you hear okay? Still can't hear.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
that's much better. Much
Okay,
better
great.
than before.
great. I think because I'm closest to the speaker here, but yeah, so the teacher negotiations are still in progress and those the budget will move forward despite that.
Which is how it happens in all districts.
Exactly.
Like, it's the same in RG one, they just push everybody through like they're negotiating teacher contracts and support staff contracts, so secretaries and, you know, those, that's just how it works.
Somebody's always negotiating a contract somewhere. If it's not this, you'll be. It doesn't really affect what we're doing in this way.
so we have enough money to hopefully cover whatever
If we
negotiation
do
comes out
not,
at the end.
for any reason, we would have to come back to the town. So that is
So
what rest
just-
assured that if, I think that's what you're looking for, is
Yeah.
what happens if the dollar amount is different than what
Right.
we think it's going to be
Right.
this. If we need more money, we're forced to come back for a special meeting.
Okay.
We are always trying to do that.
So is it safe to state that the current budget we're reading has something built into it for an increase?
It did, there was a line, it had 1.9% on regular instruction, if you remember
Yeah.
looking at that. So
Okay,
in that sense, there.
8.4%.
Well, I'm just saying regular instruction, it's the number that's stuck in my head.
Oh, with the
One
bottom-
point nine percent
bottom
at
line.
regular instruction line. We budget to the best of our ability. It is a budget. We may be wrong on this. I'm hopeful that we are not. And in all the years I've sat here at this table or on finance committee on your side, we've not had to come back
Okay.
to ask for more and
You'll know if you have to. Yes.
And
There's
then-
another question in the chat about assuming that the combination of all committee budgets and our municipal budget as a whole will result in the tax increase. There is no tax increase at the moment. The tax bill will not be known until the valuation is set and the mill rate is set. And we're going to be undergoing a statistical revaluation of property. So it really isn't clear to anyone at this point in time that there will or will not be a tax increase. If the budget as a whole is not increased, then probably the taxes won't be increased. But even if it were increased, the taxes might not be increased. So to say that the tax budget will be increased because of the school budget is really, I think, as a select person, jumping the gun. That's just my comment on budgeting.
Thank you, Bronwyn, for clarifying that.
Bob has joined us.
And there's one more comment from Michelle, who said there should always be projected budgets for school boards. It is not a yes or no question about negotiating contracts. Just to add to that conversation from Michelle.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Can
Awesome.
I
Tyler?
put in a
Yes.
shameless plug that if folks want to learn about the rest of town taxes in budgets, rather to use the correct term, we do have our town budget ordinance, our town budget hearing tomorrow night at Georgetown Historical Society. They've graciously offered us their room. If you receive the link today on Zoom to attend this meeting, you will automatically get a link tomorrow. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.